Hey guys and horror fans, welcome back to another movie review, and of course this is gonna be the final review for today. And I'm gonna talk and review is about Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare, which was released in September 13, I think it was September 13, 1991, and I do have a poster. And yes, I like this film a lot. It's gonna be a movie review. I know that everyone hates this film. Um, Everybody hates this film because it's more goofy. It's not what people were expecting. Um, they saved the best for the last. Well, guess what? I like this film a lot. It's a fun film. It's not to be meant to be serious. I know it's not that scary. It's not that scary like this movie right there or this one. This is the best one. But I like this one a lot. Directed by Rachel Talalay, and of course, it was directed by Rachel Talalay, written by Michael De Luca. Um, and I would say solid sequel. I mean, it's a fun, solid sequel. I really had fun with this film. But much better, in my opinion, than Part 5, The Dream Child, because that movie was boring and there's nothing to root about it. This one I really liked. Yeah, so that I can say this one I really liked. I thought it was really fun. It wasn't meant to be serious. But I like this film. I also do have, the Blu-ray, so it's going to be this title, Freddy's Dead, which I do have all of them right here. So this is going to be this movie, The Final Nightmare. I think the music score was by Brian May. I think it was him. Um, yeah, it was music composer was Brian May for this film. This was also released in 3D. So yeah, this movie was released in 3D. I think that I read that they actually sent them a few copies of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I'm not sure what they actually had it. But yeah, I like this film. This is the only film that was directed by Rachel Talalay, and there's many stars in this film. Like one of them is Roseanne Barr, Tom Arnold. They're in it. Alice Cooper is also one of those. Also, he plays Freddy's Dead in this movie. Alice Cooper mentioned that a lot of people ask him, to be in their movies. So he was a fan of the franchise. So because he did a music score for Jason Lives, Friday 13 Part 6. He was in the sixth installment in this movie. He didn't do the soundtracks, but was actually Iggy Pop and Goo Goo Dolls. Iggy Pop has the song on the end, the end of the credits. Why was I born? And there's a lot of all the clips from the first five films, which I thought that was awesome. I don't think that there were in part five that much, but yeah, they were all clips from the installment. Cause this is actually Freddy's Dead. They actually were planning to killing him off and to finish the story. There was a lot of story that I think that there was I think that I forgot that guy. I don't remember that guy's name. Peter Jackson. I think it was Peter Jackson. I'm not sure. I think it was that guy. I'm not sure, but I think there was a script in which there were kind of a lot of stories behind this film. One of the stories was when Freddy was aging and he was weak. I think he actually was weak, and there was, I think, a slumber party by these teens, and they actually go into his world and they decide to beat up Freddy just for kicks. I thought that story sucked. There was another story in which I think Joey Kincaid and Tarin would return as the police, in which they will, I think, will hunting down they actually were hunting down Freddy. But Rachel Talalay did not like that scene, did not like that script at all. So she hired, this guy. So she went and she hired. So she asked Michael DeLuca, and Michael DeLuca changed the story, which she liked it. This is actually completely different from the previous part 5 films. This is the 6th installment in which they actually killed off, and this was released in 1991 in 3D, and I like that. Was the first film I saw in the franchise, the finale, and it was also the first movie before I even saw, the first, I think before I even saw the third, the fourth, the fifth one, I saw this one on VHS tape back in 2003 when Freddy vs. Jason was released. I saw this movie in the video store, so I actually rented, and I liked it. I liked part 6 a lot. Not the best one in the series. I know people hate this film. It's a goofy by the end, but I liked it. I thought it was a really good one. It's actually it has a really good music scores, and one of the chief special makeup artists for the effects was also John Carbickler, who directed my favorite Friday the 13th film, Part 7, The New Blood. But Friday the 13th Part 7 was now replaced by me with Part 2, because I think that's the best sequel of all time. And I got the poster, and I prefer Friday the 13th Part 2 a lot more, which I love the title. Right there, you can see it. But yeah, by John Carbickler, he was the chief or special makeup artist. And I love that the stars were in this movie. Japet Koto from Alien, Live and Let Die, and of course The Running Man, which I just 2 weeks ago I watched The Running Man with him. Was in this movie. He was Doc. There's a psychiatric clinic. This actually isn't a psychiatric clinic. It's actually a youth shelter, which is in Los Angeles. And this is also the second time in which Freddy Krueger is driving a bus. You can see in this poster, also when he says he have a power, I forgot that line, power glow. I thought that Robert Englund had a fun in this movie, much better than he was a zombie in Part 5. He had a fun with this film. I really had fun watching this film. It was just a blast watching this film. I never hated this film. I know people hate this film because it's goofy. They don't get the kills or this joke. Actually, I have a friend. He loves this film. He actually ranked this movie in top 3 favorite films of his. And like I said, I saw the video tape in the store and I rented. It was the only Nightmare on Elm Street film I rented. But I still liked it. So I don't know all the cast. Leslie Dean was in this movie. Bracken Mayer played Spencer. Sean Greenblatt, he plays John Doe. He plays John Doe. I don't know that guy who played Carlos, Ricky Dean Martin. It was something like that. I don't know him who played Carlos. But I do remember Leslie Dean when she starred in that movie with Robert Englund, who directed that film. I think it was 978 Evil. I'm not pretty sure the title. But Leslie Dean, she was in this movie. She played, um, I think I forgot her name. I think it was Tracy. She played Tracy in this film. She's a fighter. I think that it was kind of realistic because the character Tracy, she actually was molested by her father. I think that Leslie Dean was really molested. I read that she had resembled by being molested. So maybe it was true. I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure about it. But I thought it was very well created, the film. Like in the open scene, when we open, we have a great music score by Don't Fall Asleep, that was actually played by Goo Goo Dolls, on which we see John Doe played by Sean Greenblatt, and he's in this airplane, and this is the first time in a franchise that we see an airplane, and I thought it was well crafted. And I'm not sure, was it Roseanne Barr that said right him. There's a little girl, and she says he's gonna hear you, and he actually wakes up. He falls down. The airplane. I think there was that movie Urban Legends 2, in which I think they played. That was a horror sequel. If you remember, Urban Legend 1998, there was a sequel out there, which I still think I do have the VHS tape. I have to check, but in the second movie there was also an airplane scene in which the girl's supposed to be killed by a killer and she could not act. But in this movie, we do have an airplane scene. In this movie, we do have an airplane scene, and he falls down the airplane, which was very scary in my opinion. He's like in this house, wakes up, and this house is moving, falling down, and he lands, in the dark scene, and Freddy shows up, and he says, Freddy shows up and he drives a bus, he drives, this bus, and there's this guy, the ticket seller, and says, don't take the ticket, we're gonna forget the bus, and this bus is driving and hits John Doe, and John Doe falls down. He lands on the rock. And and Freddy says, now be a good dog and fetch. Be a good doggy and fetch. That's what he tells him. And of course, John Doe wakes up and he finds, some money he found. And then we meet, in the huge shelter in Los Angeles. We see Breckenmeyer as Spencer. He plays a Nintendo. He plays a Nintendo, and his dad is disappointed, and he says, to the therapist, Maggie, he says, I expected more, and she says, he's not a Toyota. I like that. And then we also meet Leslie Dean as Tracy. She's actually a martial artist. She's defending herself. We see Japet Koto as Doc. And of course that guy, I think was Ricky Dean Martin, I'm not pretty sure. He's actually Carlos, his dad, and his friend with Tracy. And the cops find John Doe. They bring him to the shelter, and Maggie, she tries to help him out. Because that's what she does, and he actually has a dream once again, that he's back in a dream, and while in the shelter, he tries to fall asleep, but he has a dream once again, about Freddy. So because he doesn't know, because he actually didn't sleep 3 days, but he hadn't slept like he looks like he hadn't slept for 3 weeks. Maggie decides to bring him back to Springwood to find more answers. Who he is, what's his real name, his real identity. I don't think that his identity was revealed ever, or who his real identity was. I think it was revealed. Um, but yeah, but she goes back and he's dreaming once again, and he sees this little girl tells him that he should go back, and he tries to stop Maggie, and they almost crashed. And yeah, Maggie borrows and almost crashed. His real name was actually Catherine Kruger. She was the daughter of Fred Kruger. I know this is actually kind of different universe in my opinion, not the same dimension, and of course we find out Spence and Tracy and Carlos together riding in a van, and while Maggie and John Doe, they showed up in the town Springwood. There's no kids, no one, no teens. There's nobody there, there's actually nobody there. But we do meet Roseanne Barr when she meets those three kids, and I think there's Tom Arnold. Leslie Dean stated that she enjoyable working with Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold. She said they're really, really the most nicest people on earth you ever gonna meet. That they try to help abused girl. She stated that she really enjoy working with both of them because there's this carnival and you see, the kids are like missing. So yeah, so that's actually was while Maggie and John Doe are trying to find out more about his whereabouts. Carlos, Spencer, and Tracy, they try to go back in the shelter, but they actually now, just like in part 4, they actually in a time loop. They keep moving. They're now in this time loop, and actually in this time loop, and yeah, so that actually was. So they go to this house. Tracy kicks the door with her leg. She's sexy, babe. I think that one of her friends said maybe you should get late. I agree. She shouldn't get late. They go in this house, and Carlos falls asleep. And he wakes up, and there's Freddy stalking him, and he tries to kill him. He uses, he goes and uses his earring drums. He goes and pulls this earring drum. And he's making fun of him. He throws those nails on the floor. That was badass and laughable. I was really laughing at that scene. Very creative but very goofy scene. I liked it. There was another scene when they tried, there was another scene. The Freddy was jumping around and Carlos could not see or hear anything. There was even a pipe, and he was like he could not listen because it was way too loud without his earring, without his hearing ear for the ears, But yeah, the goofball, the good scenes, I didn't mind it. You forgot the power glove. There was another scene when actually Carlos, he gets killed. He dies. I think his head explodes. That was great for. It was great for special effects. There also was. They tried, and And of course, Carlos, played by Bracken Mayer, he was wasted. And Carlos tried to warn him not to fall asleep. As he falls asleep, he finds himself in a video game. And there's that time, the Nintendos were really popular. If you watch Terminator 2 Judgment Day, you see that it was very popular. And yeah, it was that time was very popular. And in the video game, Spence, he keeps walking like some like Bugs Bunny. He keeps running away. And he's kinda funny that time. He keeps running away, or jumping ups and down, or there's this guy keeps punching him with a tennis bat, and and he kicks the guy's back. Or Freddy goes after him. It was just funny scene. It was very, very invented, in my opinion. Very funny. Tracy and John, they try to go back. John starts believing that he's actually his son, that Freddy, because he's the last children, the last teen of Elm Street. He So he tries to go back. He asks Tracy to knock him down. He hits her. She hits him back. He falls down in the dream, and Tracy also shows somehow. They go find Freddy, and she kicks the guy's ass, and Spencer goes back, kills the guy, kicks the guy, but Freddy anyway kills him, pushes him off the ledge, just like in Nightmare 3, this movie, Dream Warriors. When he actually pushed Philip off the ledge, this time he pushes Spencer off the ledge, and he gets killed. Also on TV, Johnny Depp, around 40 minutes, Johnny Depp is in this movie when Carlos is actually wasted. I think that was that time when Johnny Depp quit on the TV show 21st Jump Street for I think was the fifth season. The fourth season he quit. He was in fourth season, but I think when the fifth season started, that he actually, he actually had a cameo scene in this movie when he actually was hit by Freddy in this movie. I thought that was really ballsy to bring back Johnny Depp from this movie, in this film. I thought that was really ballsy that they actually put him back. I thought part 6, in 6th installment, yes, people are bitching about because it was goofy. I think it's kind of underrated. I think that people are really bitching way too much about this film. But I liked it. I mean, I like a lot more than part 5, Dream Child, because that was a really boring film. It was so forgettable. I will probably watch the movie as a time waster, but this one I will watch as a fun, as I'm being entertained. I mean, I am entertained, and it's not boring, it's not slow, it's not sluggish. It doesn't play the pace over the film. I thought Rachel Talalay did a really good job. She was a producer in the whole franchise, and she was director. Someone else directed the final hour, I think, with the film with Sean Greenblatt, because she got sick and she could not, and because they were delaying, they were pushed back, with the filming because she was sick. So someone else directed the final scenes to edit it together. She got sick. But I thought that Rachel Talalay did a really good job directing the film. I thought that was really badass. She liked the story, the screenplay by Michael De Luca. And I think, in my opinion, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, and Freddy is Dead, The Final Friday, The Final Nightmare, I think both of them are very underrated. I think they're both underrated. I think they both underrated. I I think they both underrated. It was released in 3D, just like Friday the 13th Part 3 3D. Um, was actually in 3D demise, and also of course uh, Maggie uses the 3D glasses in her dream. I thought the main actress, Lisa Zane, I thought she did a great job as the daughter, as Maggie Burrows, later Catherine Kruger. I thought she did a great job. Lisa Zane, I thought she did a great job. I thought she did a great job. In my opinion, she really did. She did a great job as the main star. Because this is actually the first time in which Freddy fights, an adult. Because in many of the franchise, there are actually more teens because there weren't any adults. I love the performance by Jughead Koto as Doc and of course Freddy Krueger. They both meet each other. Both they meet each other. They're both, and I love when Freddy says first they try to burn me, then they try to bury me. They even try to use holy water on me. And he says. But I just keep coming, and I think that and they try. I think he said they try to get rid of me or something. And I love when Jabba Koto ask him who they, the dream people. I just love the performance between Freddy Krueger, between Robert Englund and Jabba Koto when they face each other, or Jabba Koto goes with a baseball bat, kicks the shit out of Freddy. I love that. Or when Leslie Dean kicks him in the balls. I read that Robert Englund really punched very hard Leslie Dean when she fell down, when they actually had a fight, the battle, and I like that. He used a glove punch her just like Batman. He punches her. I love that scene. He was a badass Fred in this movie. Punches her in the face. Just like part 5, this has a low body count. There are only 3 body counts, just like in the part 5. But I don't mind it because I still had fun with this film. And yeah, I love the music score, especially the finale by Iggy Pop. Why Was I Born? I actually, when I had my old channel, I did upload the music video, but I think parts of it was blocked. Someone give me dislike. But I actually put it because I like the song. I really like the song on the end by Iggy Pop. Why Was I Born? No, no, why was I born? I love the pop song. Um, Don't Fall Asleep by Goo Goo Dolls. I enjoy. Or Why Was I Awake? I enjoy. I think was Why I Was Awake. Or When I'm Awake by Goo Goo Dolls, or the one that's Don't Fall Asleep. Just love the music songs. The airplane scene in the beginning is really awesome. Carlos and Spencer, they've been both killed. So now they both so now because they both disappeared, Maggie and Tracy, they grab they both grab John Doe. They try to they flee from the they both flee from Springwood. But of course John Doe finds out that he's not actually Freddy. He's not actually Freddy's son. Only to bring his daughter back, and John Doe being killed. And I love when Maggie he's in Maggie's arm, and she screams no, and he's actually being killed. I do love that. Now no one remembers that Carlos, Spencer, and John Doe exist. but Doc remembers him, and that's how when Doc and Freddy Krueger meet. And I love the final preparation when they go to the weapons, and Maggie says, I have to go back, it's just me and him, just like in the Terminator. She goes back, and she actually found herself in Freddy's memories. Then we see when Freddy, he was a kid, that he was bullied by other kids when he killed, I think he killed the rat, or was a mouse he killed. Then he was also beaten by his father, and then he was burned by angry mob of parents. And how he got the power, how he became the demon. The demons, when she saw all those demons in it. Like Hellraiser, those demons, I thought that was that really enjoyable. And yes, that kind of was awesome in my opinion. Those demons, or the demons when they actually give the power to Freddy. I enjoyed that. I like the little girl. And then we see, that not Rachel, thought Rachel, that Maggie, she saw how that when she was a kid, her dad killed her mother, and that's how she was in a foster home. That's how she became, a foster kid. And she saw when he killed her mother, and that time, she goes, she goes and punches him and says, "You killed my mother." She grabs a metal stick, punches him, and she jumps him, she grabs him, and they wake her up. And he's now actually in the boiler room. They prepare the weapons, and she's like in this room with the bars. She's locked in, and she has to find out herself Freddy. And I just love how badass Maggie she was. I love the final scene, the fight scene, and when Doc and Tracy, they try to put her out. They try to put her out, and Tracy, she gives her all those blades and those cross stars, those ninja blade stars, and she keeps throwing him. She even stabs him, and she uses his glow, stabs him like a badass. She is such a badass chick. She grabs the dynamite, puts the dynamite in Freddy. They broke up the doors. The Doc and Tracy broke the door, and Freddy blows to pieces. And says, "Kids." Man, I love the scene on the end. And then Maggie says, "Freddy's dead." That's the song, "Freddy's Dead." I fucking love the finale. I have always enjoyed the finale. Badass. The finale was badass in my opinion. I really had fun with this film. Man, he was such a badass. Robert Englund at least wasn't a sleepwalking. He wasn't like a fucking dead zombie. In part 5, he had fun in this movie. I loved it, the makeup. Like I said, John Carbickler, rest in peace. He was one of those people. He was one of those people in this film for the makeup artist. I thought the makeup artists and the music composer Brian May did a good job. I enjoy Sean Greenblatt as John Doe. This is the first time that we think that that there's actually a male star, beside Mark Patton, that he's actually a male star in this movie, in which he has the main role. Leslie Dean, she's a teen. I love when she uses her martial arts skills to punch the punching bag. I like that in the film. Bracken Mayer, I remember him from Road Trip. I like him in this film. I like him in Road Trip a lot more than this film. Yeah, but I thought the music score, by Iggy Pop and Goo Goo Dolls worked for this film. I thought the final scene, the fight scene, the battle between the daughter of Maggie and with the daughter between Freddy and Maggie, I thought that was badass. I know that in the first 5 movies, Fred Krueger never had he never actually had a daughter. This is actually different. But in Friday the 13th, actually, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Jason also didn't have niece or any family or resemblance. He only had his mother through whole 8 movies, and they decided to do something different. And that movie got shit. I hated it. Jason Goes to Hell, but when I rewatched previous month, I liked it. And that movie grew on me, and so did Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. It grew on me. They actually killed off this film. They went and they killed off this film. But I know this is actually the title, which is not the title Nightmare on Elm Street. It's actually titled Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. But this is it meant to be the last film in the franchise. Yeah, it was meant to be the final movie in the franchise. But I still love this collection. But Wes Craven, after 3 years, he did his own movie, New Nightmare, because that movie will be a huge review, and it's gonna be probably an epic review, because I love that movie dearly to death. Love New Nightmare to death. The best one, so in my opinion, in the franchise. Because I actually gonna put New Nightmare above Freddy vs. Jason. Because I love New Nightmare. Because I love Heather Langenkamp in that movie. She did a great job in the first and the 7th movie. But I'll get more into it. As for this movie, I'm just gonna read the title. They saved the best for the last. You forgot the Power Glow. I thought I liked the film. I think that I kind of forgot the budget and the I think that this movie did made more money than the 5th one, because the 5th one was like $22 million. This one was around, I think it made $30 million. I think was around $12 million the budget. No, it was $9 million was actually the budget. I think it was $9 to $12 million budget. But I think that I do think that that this movie was around. I think it made gross money around $30 million. Was in 3D. Was released 3D. Was released, I think, September 13, 1991. I'm not sure the date, but it was in September 1991. So it was already 30-year anniversary. So that still was awesome. But yeah, that's my movie review on Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. I think that's it, the title, The Final Nightmare. I really had a blast with this film. So thanks for watching. This is the final review for today, and the next installment I'll probably upload it probably next weekend, because I'm gonna be busy this week that much. But yeah, or maybe soon, but we'll see. Anyway, take care and have a good day. I'm out. Did you like this film? Did you hate it? Probably a lot of people hate it, but I like it. Anyway, I'm out. Peace. Bye bye. Take care.